We have an amazing, amazing program for you right now with some of the most inspirational people and speakers you've ever seen. And so to kick it off, I would like to call up Mr. Efryim Barry Shore, who is Ambassador of Joy. You're going to love this. He is a founding member of the Venice, Los Angeles Jewish community, a founding member of the Los Angeles Kolo Boker, a charter member of Tzvi Reisman Shir, a husband, father, grandfather, successful serial entrepreneur, recovering quadriplegic, swimmer, founder of the Keep Smiling movement. And if you're lucky, you will get a card like this that says Keep Smiling. And because I'm a dentist, this is very close to my heart as well. So we'd like to call up Mr. Efryim Shore.
Oops. Thank you. Thank you, Svi. Let me just do one quick thing. I just want to shake this amazing being's hand. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi.
So you can come up. Yes, there's.
Oh, we'll take the shortcut, huh? Smile, Tzvi, smile. Should we fake them all out and I'll jump up? Okay, we practice this, yes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Yeah, we don't want me over the edge, huh? I'm already over the edge guy. Okay. Oh, thank you. Now you stay right here. Mata, Efryim. Thank you. Is it open? Okay. Thank you much. Good evening, beautiful, bountiful beings, and good-looking Jews. They're alive. Now, how can I say that you're good-looking and not be over on Hanifa? Because we're Jews. And Jews are always looking for the good. Right? Now, as Jews also, we always thank our hosts before we begin. Louis, thank you for reading the introduction prepared by my mother. I appreciate it. Rebbe, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Rabbi Bloom and staff, thank you very much. And of course, we owe the greatest thanks to, thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please join me in Eretz Yisrael. The year is 2004, 13 years ago. It's late August. That particular year is very much like this year, that Rosh Hashanah was Yom Chamishi, Shishi, going into Shabbos Kodesh. I'm traveling. I'm married at that time 27 years to wonderful Naomi. I'm with my son, Ezra. We're bonding in Eretz Yisrael, learning together, visiting friends. We have large extended family, thank God. And since it was also after Labor Day, we got the ability to go on zip lines and rappelling and portaging and rapids, and there weren't a lot of people around. It was wonderful. Thank God I had already built 2 businesses on the internet, one of which I had sold for millions of dollars. Life was wonderful. Second day of Rosh Hashanah, 2004, I'm standing up in the morning in shul, just like everybody here. That evening, I'm in the hospital, paralyzed from my neck down. I became what's called a quadriplegic within a matter of hours from a very rare disease. Nothing on my body moved. Back of the baseball card statistics, I was in ICU for 11 days, hospitals 4.5 months. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both legs from my hips down to my ankles, which we called Yochin and Boaz. And that was already progress, walking with a walker for years. But as you see now, I'm vertical and ambulatory. So thank God, much better. It's only the beginning. That first Shabbos, welcome to my new year, 5765. As we say, of course, in our world, all beginnings are difficult, right? But they are fraught with great possibilities. That first Shabbos, somehow I had gone to sleep. I hear a gentle, soft, feminine voice call out, "Mr. Shore, can you hear me?" My eyes open. Nothing on my body moves. That's an odd feeling. "Mr. Shore, my name is Dr. Norris. I am the neurologist on call during the weekend. You have something very serious. It might even be fatal. I need to run some tests. Are you with me?" All I could do was blink my eyes. I couldn't even speak. Over the next few hours, I was picked up, moved, tested, pushed, probed, and in the ICU, had 2 spinal taps without any anesthesia. And on the second one, I hear, "Yay, applause," as if I had given birth. And I had. They found out exactly what I have. It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS for the cognoscenti, also known as French polio. And now I'm hooked up with all kinds of things to keep me alive and arrest the paralysis. That's the first Shabbos. Needless to say, my wife went on the offensive with joy, happiness, peace, and love, and organized all kinds of wondrous things, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I want to go forward to the next Shabbos, or Erev Shabbos, as it were. Next Erev Shabbos, of course, is Yom Kippur. I'm in the ICU, intensive care unit. How am I going to have a tefillah for Yom Kippur? Well, I'm blessed to have a wondrous, dear friend and Rav named Rabbi Shlomo Goldberg, who I hope is known to a lot of people here, a great menahel from Or Eliyahu Academy, close friend. He had prepared my machzor. My machzor was a single page, 8.5 by 11, large type of 4 pesukim, plasticized, and my wife was able to get it into the ICU and attach it to either side of the railings on the bed, because all I could do was turn my head left to right. Of course, one of the pesukim was what? Haben yakir li Efryim. He loves me. I'm in ICU, intensive care. I'm a quadriplegic, but I know he loves me. As my wife left to prepare for Yom Kippur, I'm laying in bed, my eyes open, and I see at the foot of my bed 3 white coats, I call them. Doctors dressed in white, male. The first one approaches me, and he is Dr. Kars, my PCP, my regular physician. Tells me what it looks like is going to happen over the next week or so. Speaks for a few minutes, looks at his watch and says, "Excuse me, I'm going to get ready for Yom Kippur." Excuses himself. The next doctor is Dr. Goldfein. Dr. Goldfein is far less observant than Dr. Kars, but he's Jewish, so he's my neurologist. He tells me what he hopes is going to happen over the next week or so, and then excuses himself to get ready for Yom Kippur. The next doctor is Dr. McCarthy. Dr. McCarthy is my pulmonary specialist. It's very important. And he gives me really good news. They're not going to intubate. They're not going to put a hole in my throat and put me on a breathing machine. And he says, "But you better pray hard. Make sure you don't lose that, or otherwise we will." He looks at his watch and he says, "I have to go. Get ready for Yom Kippur." And he must have seen my eyes open wide, and he said, "Just because my name's McCarthy doesn't mean I'm not Jewish. Only in America, right?" I'm in the intensive care unit, Yom Kippur, completely paralyzed. able to move my head left to right, that's all. But remember, it's the intensive care unit. Who's taking care of me intensively? Kadosh Baruch Hu. I can turn my head left to right, that's all. It was one of the deepest, most direct connections I've ever had on the day of at-one-ment. Move ahead a few days. I am moved out of ICU into a regular private room. That particular night, I couldn't fall asleep, always with drugs and such, but I just couldn't sleep. Nurse came around and asked me, Mr. Shore, would you like to see a movie? And I assented, asked what they had. She told me, and I chose a biop of Abraham Lincoln. Well, we all know how that turns out, right? And towards the end, I'm crying. Tears are in my eyes. Now, I'm in bed. I can't move. Tears are salty. They burn. It hurts. Well, what do? You wipe them away. But I can't move my hands. I can't blink them away. I can't move my head vigorously enough to get rid of them. And the call button that had been set up behind my head, unusually in this particular situation, had moved. All I could do was call out. So I called out. Help. Help, please. That was my voice. And I had agreed I'm going to count to 10 and wait and call again. By the time I got to 3, it was too painful. So I mustered my strength. I called out, help, nurse, please. By the time I counted to 4, the nurse was at the door. She said, Mr. Shore, did you call me? Yes, my eyes. She came in, saw it, cleaned them up, daubed them, dried them, fixed the call button for my head, and then a little bit of a voice said, is that all? I said, yes, thank you. No one knows the pain of another. And you don't know what you can't do till you can't do it. Move ahead a few days. I'm on a gurney, and it was a male nurse who was bringing me back to my room. And I had interacted with this fellow a number of times over the previous 3 or 4 days. And he's moving me back, and he stops just before we get to the room, and he looks down and he asks me, he said, Mr. Shore, can I ask you a question? So I agreed. Personal question. He said, I'm a male nurse. I see people in your situation often. I've never met anybody that's not bitter or angry. How come you're not bitter or angry? And until that point, I never thought of being bitter or angry or upset. But I realized he was asking me the existential question. Why me? Why did you do this to me? But I wasn't thinking like that. We're Jews. I was thinking, why me? I'm just a guy. Kadosh Baruch Hu, what do you want me to do? I'm in a position. I can't move. What am I to learn, and what can I do? And dear fellow Jews, at that moment, I called out with this tzaka gedola that nobody could hear but me and him. And I asked, please, heal me and show me my purpose. And as sure as I'm sitting here, a warmth and a calm and a serenity came over me that I had never known in 50 years on the planet. I was determined to walk again. B'derech she'adam rotzeh ba halichnoso. Determined. As I mentioned to you, I had gone through many different processes. And over the course of 6 years, and thank God we could afford private therapists, 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, I was able finally to learn how to become vertical and ambulatory. Albeit, as you just saw, not able to walk up a step by myself or a curb by myself, and I have helped 12 hours a day still, but I'm vertical and ambulatory. That's amazing, right? Thank you. And in the process, if you like that, you're going to love this one. In the process of that, I learned how to swim. Now, here's where it gets really nice. Took a bit of time, but I applied Rav Scheinberg's 4 Ps. I don't know if anybody of you know Rav Scheinberg, Olav Shalom, and in the beginning of every new year, we'd always talk about the 4 Ps: prayer, persistence, perseverance, and patience. Those are the 4 Ps. That was my world. I learned how to swim so well that I swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week, and I've done that for more than 9 years. I've accumulated enough miles, we'll think in terms of the East Coast and New York people, to swim from New York City, across the Atlantic, through the Straits of Gibraltar, across the Mediterranean, and up to Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh, over the past 9 years. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, so now, we're bringing me home. I'm still a quad. I'm in the hospital bed. And my amazing, wonderful wife, Naomi, says, look, we can afford private help, thank God, around the clock. I had sold my businesses. But she didn't want people sleeping in her house after 10 o'clock at night. She doesn't know these people, right? This is my home, our home. So we had help from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. And she decided she was going to take care of me in the evening. That's fine. She learned how to give me shots, administer my medicine and such. One little detail. When you're in the hospital, they have something called turning teams. Because you're in your quad, you're on your back all the time. So at night at least, we have 2 people come around, big burly people with these braces and such, and every 2.5, 3 hours they come and they pick you up and turn you on your side so you have some semblance of normality of sleeping, one side to the other side throughout the night. Well, thank God my wife, amazing, she's 3/4 of an inch over 5'1", 8 pounds over 100, and she's going to turn me over. Now, conjure up this famous vision of the distraught mother picking up the car because her child is pinned underneath, right? She's going to turn me over. And she did. Ladies, you're going to like this. She did this. Night in and night out. Week in and week out. Month in and month out for almost 2 years. That's love. Deep love. Now we come to purpose. I had asked the Kadosh Baruch Hu, please. I was going mad. I needed to make a difference. That's mad. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm getting a little better. I can swim, but what am I going to do? Why am I called? I mentioned I was in a wheelchair for 4 years, and thank God we had 2. We had a motorized wheelchair, and we had one of these fancy, lightweight, Olympic-style wheelchairs that easy to pick up and move around and do things, because I didn't do it, but I had help that had to do it, so we had to take care. Together, they cost almost $10,000. In addition to private therapy, we also went to a group therapy session, because when you're in this kind of situation, you got to go to a group also sometimes, be with people. While I'm in the group, over the course of months, I see not everybody can afford nice and fancy wheelchairs. One day we come home, get me back in bed. Again, I'm still a quad. I said to my wife, Mrs. Shore, we're very formal, Yekis, would you be kind enough to go and find a place that helps people get wheelchairs. Let's give them a check for $1,000 and help. She said, fine, she'll do it. It feels good to give. I did something wonderful. I'm in bed, I'm laying there. Okay, so I'm a quad, but I just helped somebody, right? Or people. About 5 minutes later, I call out, "This is dumb!" I didn't use my hands. My wife comes running in. She says, "What's the matter?" I said, "This is dumb." Just because we can afford it, and I was moved at the moment to give money, why isn't it that there are thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people not giving money every single day for the cause they care about? Why not? I told you I was going mad. I needed to make a difference. I'm a businessman. I'm a Jew. Kadosh Baruch Hu can do anything. Help. So I set out a few conditions. What are the conditions? Has to be fun. Has to be easy. And it has to be free. Free? Yes, it must be that people can give money and it won't cost them a penny. Should I say it again? People can give money, it won't cost them a penny. That's a good agenda, isn't it? I asked, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, help. About 2 days later, I'm laying in bed, open my eyes, and as clear as I'm looking at you, I saw the simple answer to the problem. Because a problem, no matter how complex, when there's a simple, straightforward answer, that's the right one. It was 3 circles. A Venn diagram, since we're all educated people here, right? 3 interlocking circles. And each one was labeled so I could understand it. The first was labeled mobile, cell phones. Now, even going back 10 years, just at the beginning of the iPhone generation, you knew that this was not a fad or a trend. This was a complete change in human communications. That was the first circle. The second circle was labeled gift cards. Gift cards? Gift cards. Now, you can't walk into a store and not be assaulted by racks of these things, right? It's a $100+ billion business. But those are plastic. Here's a cell phone. That doesn't compute. Oh, but there was a line that was labeled digital. Kadosh Baruch Hu was very clear. Line labeled digital. Oh, I get it. I hit a button on the phone, and I order a card I'm going to use at the coffee place. I hit the button, and it gets delivered. That's good. I like that. But it's the third circle that was the key. That circle was labeled cause. And as we all know, because we learn, oftentimes what's not said is more important than what is said. It didn't say charity. It was labeled cause. Because a charity, to me, is someone with their hand out, and you put $1 in that hand, and now the next thing it does, it reaches in your pocket trying to get more. That's a charity. A cause is something that is attractive. I want to help. Millennials, young people. I want clean water. I want clean world. I want animals. I don't want to put pets to death. I want to feed people. I want to support education. I want to help. That's a cause. Now it was clear. Everybody goes shopping. Whether you buy on Amazon, or you go to Best Buy, use iTunes, you go to coffee, whatever it is, you can now hit a button on a phone and get that same thing delivered to you. You pay $100, you got $100, and $2.50, $5, whatever the percentage is, goes to the cause of your choice. It didn't cost you a penny. That was the solution. Thank you, Kadosh Baruch Hu. So now I understood that we had a mission and a goal. What's the mission? Making everyday giving effortless. What's the goal? To facilitate the giving of $1 billion in the next 5 years without costing anyone a penny. We labeled it delighted. And we attracted great people to help build it. I'm a quad. I can't do much except use this and help people because I built other businesses on the internet. As I mentioned to you, I already built two. One of them we sold for millions of dollars, and they were both built on the free model, so we know that it works. We attracted somebody who was retired from Google. He didn't need the money. We attracted to one of the founders of Blue Nile. We attracted a person who was the president of a billion-dollar gift card company who said to me, "Sure, you know what you just did? You built script on steroids." Yes, because now you can use your credit card. It's easy to press a button. Making everyday giving effortless. Beautiful, great tool. Now I see my purpose, but that's not the reason I'm here tonight only. It's because of my wife, who's been the hero of the story throughout, right? So about 4 years ago, she comes home one day. She's at the market. She comes home. She says, "Mr. Shore," now we're married 40 years, but she's very formal. She said, "Mr. Shore, you're very smart." And now when your wife says to you, "You're very smart," you listen, correct? You're very smart. She tells me what happened. She's at the store. She's checking out. And the bill was $36.81. And the person at the store asked her, "Would you like to round up to the nearest dollar?" So my wife, being her, says, "What's the organization?" And they told her, and she says, "No, thank you." Okay, she chose. But she came home with the idea, and she says, "You're smart. Why can't you do this on the internet?" I said, "That's a great idea. Why not? Nobody's ever done it before." So I started examining and looking into it. It's not easy. Matter of fact, it's very difficult. You have to deal with banks. It's very complex. I spent a lot of time and money and effort of my company finding out how to get it done. It wasn't working. I said, "Please, Kodesh Baruch Hu, this is a great idea. How do we make this work?" So within a couple days, I get a phone call. I'm speaking to another person about something else, a friend of mine, who says to me, "I want to introduce you to somebody, a friend of mine. You need to meet this guy." Why? Because this fellow is one of the top people in the country in mobile security. Okay. And he also happens to have a very difficult situation. He's mad like you. He wants to make a difference in the world. He and his wonderful wife have 2 sons. One of them has charge syndrome. You should never even know what it is. Short life, doesn't see very well, doesn't hear very well, can barely walk. That's the first son. The second son is deeply autistic. He wants to make a difference in the world. Paul and I met, and he heard my story, I heard his, and he says, "This is great because he could actualize my vision." And together, we built something that is absolutely elegant, seamless, frictionless, set it and forget it, and it's electronic roundup. And if you'll join me now, we're going to take a brief journey for 1 minute and 36 seconds, right? And we're going to watch a short video just now.
Change Bowl makes it easy to support great causes. It helps raise money automatically for the things you care about. Change Bowl rounds up your purchases to the nearest dollar so you can donate the difference to the charity and/or charities you select. You'll barely notice the difference, but together, we can make a significant impact. Connect any credit or debit card to round up and invest your spare change. With ChangeBowl.com, we take your change and put it into a savings account for you to donate now or later. How do we do this? It's easy, safe, and automatic for you. You sign up and tie a debit or credit card to our system and choose to round up for charity automatically or on demand. For example, the cup of coffee you bought this morning was $2.75. We round up your purchase to the nearest dollar and deposit the 25 cents into a Change Bowl savings account in your name. Once the money has been moved to your account, you're able to automatically donate this to any nonprofit of your choice. No need to sign up on another website, mail in a check, or wonder where your contribution has gone. We track every penny for you and will make sure you have it for tax season. Also, you can instantly share with your friends the causes that are important to you and inspire them to make a difference too. Finally, a simple, secure, easy, and tax-adjustable solution for you to use. Your change makes change for others. Download our app today on Apple and Google Play stores. Learn more at changebowl.com.
I beg your indulgence for 89 seconds. I am deeply honored and humbled to be here tonight and to say thank you to every single being in this room, because you are the ones who are truly mad. You are the ones who make a difference every single day, every single week, every single year, nurturing, growing, caring for these precious beings called the future of Klal Yisrael. And I thank you.
Barry will be with us all weekend and all Shabbos, and please find out more information about Delighted from him.